Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode here at the Kickpod Dojo for inspirational martial arts talk. I am your host, TJ Williams, fourth degree black belt in the Chuck Norris system. Here to talk about my martial arts experience, discussing and analyzing martial arts based subjects, and highlighting individuals involved in martial arts of all styles, past, present, and future. All right, so just get an update for me. I'm recovering from my knee surgery, and of course, I got switched from a immobilizer to a adjustable knee brace. So that things are looking good. So they got me adjusted from 0 to 30 right now. So next 2 weeks, I'll adjust another 30 degrees and see how things are. So the goal is to get my knee from 0 to 90 degrees. All right. So let me introduce you to a guest, of course, with 30 plus years of martial arts experience. Of course, he started at 4 years old. And of course, he was trained by his father, Louis Casamassa. And of course, a lot of you know him as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, which is definitely that's a plus for me. And definitely for those who are fans of Mortal Kombat like me, then you're gonna definitely listen to this podcast. So let me introduce to you to Chris Casamassa, that he had was nice enough to actually come on the show. I mean, it might be a short period of time, but definitely it's gonna be good. How are we doing there, Chris?
I'm doing great, TJ. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you for actually taking the time to be on. I mean, I know you was on Jason Flame's podcast last week, which was great. So I was watching that real good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. So basically your journey started when you were little. So definitely looking from the interview you had with Jason Flame, I mean, you started with your father that had the Red Dragon karate studio, right? So
That's correct. Yes.
yeah, so at least give you like your view of how your experience is training with your father.
Well, listen, training with your dad is it got its ups and its downs, right? When it's good, it's good, and when it's bad because it's never about what you messed up on in the studio. It's about what you messed up on when you're in third grade. So it's a little bit different. But listen, my dad's my hero. He's the inspiration for all the things that I do. He's the founder of our style and system of martial arts. So for that, I am eternally grateful.
Yeah, it's always good, really, that's just your inspiration. I mean, at first you probably were too key to being a black belt, but after being there so many times, it kind of say, here I'm this is something I would need to do. So basically I know you said your father had say you can't quit until you become a black belt.
That's correct. Yeah. He taught me dedication and discipline at a very young age.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was pretty much my goal as a going to black belt. I wasn't just going in there just saying I don't want to be a black belt, but I just that was my goal when I started doing martial arts, and yeah, and I accomplished my goal, and yeah, and then it went on to doing four more tests, and then from there I am on my way to be the master rank in the Chuck Norris system.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to get through this knee injury, and then of course get myself set for July.
Yeah. How'd you hurt your knee?
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Were you battling The Rock?
Yeah, he probably killed me. Well, let's just say I was going for like a dive, and I guess my feet hit the ropes, and then from there it I ruptured my patella tendon.
Oh no. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to hear that, man.
yeah. Uh, I mean, I'm not gonna let it get me down. I'm still training. I mean, yeah, I'm learn how to do Shotokan kata called chinte or chinche. That's I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. I mean, it's like
Shinto?
Chinto, Chinte. I mean, that's
Tomato, tomato.
yeah. I mean, that's saying I'm just trying to like get out my like kind of like the style that I am with the Chuck Norris system and kind of learning different katas because I do this for competing at the convention that we go to. So it's like something different, like really. Yeah. So do you
Yeah,
ever?
man.
Yeah. So do you ever go like to like outside your style and learn different martial arts katas?
Oh yeah. I've got black belts in half a dozen different styles already, and I've competed literally all over the world. So the path that you're on and what you're doing is a great path to be on.
Right. Yeah, I understand you got like several of national championships, mostly in open form, and I guess open form is that's just like you either your created form or any type of style martial arts. So can you like talk about like your experience with that?
Yeah, well, listen, I competed on the pro tour professionally for a decade, for 10 years. And the first 4 years on the pro tour, I got my rear end pretty much handed to me every weekend I went to a tournament. But staying persistent and committed and practicing and making myself better and better really paid off. In the last 4 years of my competitive career, I was the #1 forums competitor in the world. And like you said, the open forums at that time, they didn't have all the separate things like they do now, like extreme division, tricking division, although it was just like all in one. So if you weren't doing traditional, you were in open. So it was kind of a hodgepodge of everything goes. It was really probably one of the most competitive and difficult divisions to win. So to be able to be, up on the top and be the #1 competitor in the world at that time was a big deal.
Yeah, Mason. I mean, I've gone to tournaments and it wasn't always open forum. It was like different, like different like Japanese forum
Yep.
styles, Korean and pretty much Chinese. So that was like different categories of
Right.
them. So and mostly it was like almost like tricking, like you said, like there'll be like open forum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So let's kind of get to like where you became a black belt and then going to like teaching. So was when you got to black belt, was teaching your like your main thing you wanted to do, or that's almost like you almost got pushed into it?
I did not get pushed into it. It was something that just kind of naturally happened for me. My dad was great about that. You know, he always the same thing with martial arts about teaching, which was listen, do it because you want to do it, not because you think you have to do it. But if you start, try and be the best that you can be at whatever that is that you're doing. So I never really set out to be a teacher or trainer. It just kind of ended up that way once I made black belt and got up a couple degrees of black belt and got better and better. I wanted to start helping out. And a lot of it was because I wanted to spend more time with my dad, be around my dad. My dad was always at the studio. So I knew the best way to be around him was to be at the studio. So I just kind of learned from being around him. And that led into me becoming a teacher and a trainer and a coach.
Yeah, no, for me being a teacher, and I mean, it's kind of like nerve-wracking because you make sure you gotta know what you're doing. You have a like a almost like a structure of like how you want to teach, but as you do it for a long time, it comes naturally. So for me, I've been an instructor for 9 years now. But
Mhm.
I didn't start very great. So I mean, but I went out there and kind of looked at other than how people teach martial arts, but I looked out people teach like other things like for me, I teach fitness also. So I kind of build up my being an instructor from doing fitness because I make it look fun. So that's
Mhm.
whole concept teaching kids, like not just make it like a army training, just make it like
Right.
you want them to have fun, but at the same time you want them to be aware of like mostly with self-defense situations.
Yeah, TJ, listen, you hit the nail right on the head there with that because I mean that's the big disconnect that a lot of people don't understand. Being a black belt and being a black belt instructor are as far apart as the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. They're two completely different worlds. They're two sides of the country. Just because someone is a black belt doesn't mean that they're a good teacher or trainer or educator. It just means that they're a good black belt. They did it for them. The art of communication and inspiring people to want to learn, let alone want to pay you, is an entirely different art form. And that's where a lot of people who make black belt get it confused because they think I'm a black belt and everyone's going to pay me to teach them now. But if you're not a good educator, if you're not a good uh, trainer, and you can't inspire them to get them to want to come back, to get them to want to do the work, because listen, becoming a black belt's hard. It's not an easy thing to do, and you've got a head start. You're a fitness trainer, so you understand uniquely what it takes to inspire someone to want to work out and train. So good for you, man, and congratulations on your success.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know you said you hit the nail on the head about black belt tests not being easy. I mean, I've been through 4 black belt tests. I mean, my last black belt test, and I felt like I was ready to die, but I had that heart to actually keep going because if I was to die in a self defense situation, I'm basically it's going to be injury. I mean, even worse, I'll be in the hospital. I mean, that's what I'm teaching these kids. Like, really, it's not just learning the techniques; it's learning how to use your anatomy and build your endurance and really try to like build them up to be a black belt.
Yeah. And that's it. It's got to be fun without being funny, right? Because and you already know this being in the martial arts a long time, is we're taking something that's thousands of years old, right? Fighting styles have been around for millennia, and they were developed for one sole purpose: to win wars, to kill other people, to fight other people. That's what the martial arts was invented for. So now we're supposed to teach that to a 9-year-old. So you can't, right? There's a disconnect there. So it's got to be fun and entertaining because we're competing with everything else that's going on in that kid's life. But the one thing that is more important is what we do, right? We're going to teach them a skill that could someday save their life, prevent them from being kidnapped or attacked or assaulted. Like, that's priceless. That's way better than soccer or football or little league. So it's important that you're able to communicate those benefits to the parents of those kids that are coming to train with you.
Yeah, I mean, I have to worry about my niece. She's currently she turned 15 last month, so I got to worry about her being in like situations. And of course, she took karate like 5 years ago, and I was fortunate enough to actually watch her take class, and it was amazing how she pretty much took what I did with martial arts and kind of bring it into her life. And I mean, I wish she would have stayed and at least got the black belt, but nevertheless, I mean, I see that she had that commitment to martial arts. So do
Yeah,
you
listen, a little bit's better than nothing, but that's your niece. You should really push her to get back into it, especially at her age. Listen, and I talked about this on Jason's podcast a little bit. According to the FBI, one out of every three girls in the United States will be attacked or sexually assaulted in their life. It's a horrible, horrible statistic. So any parent that's hearing my voice that has a daughter, it is your responsibility as a parent to ensure that those odds tip in your daughter's favor, right? For guys, for me and you, our chance is 1 in 100, right? For girls, it's 1 in 3. So every female should train in the martial arts. And really, my opinion is, if every human on the planet trained in the martial arts, like, I don't care the style, whether it's UFAF, Chuck Norris, or whether it's Red Dragon Karate, it doesn't even matter. If every human on the planet trained in the martial arts for 1 year, it's my opinion that our world would be a much better place. But it's hypercritical for girls to be confident, to have the self-esteem, to have the awareness. Not that they're going to be like in the movies and be like Charlize Theron and just kill everybody and beat everybody up. But the self-confidence and the awareness sometimes is just enough to prevent someone who's thinking about attacking you to attack you, right? And I say, listen, if you don't start them in martial arts, put them in something that makes their body posture good: gymnastics, cheerleading, modeling, all those things. You have to be upright and look straight ahead and be confident. And the confidence is what keeps potential attackers away. Now, there's some attackers that could care less how confident you are. They're going to come after you anyway. That's where the skill that we teach comes in. And that's why it's so important, right? You can only be confident to a point. Somebody tries to grab you, you can't cheerlead your way out of that, right? You can't flip your way out of it unless you're making a movie. So in real life, you've got to learn how to defend yourself. And that's why I believe it's so important for women to train in the martial arts at every age. And the younger they can start, the better. But the other great thing about martial arts, you already know this, TJ, it doesn't matter what age you are. This is one of the only sports and activities on the planet that you could start at any age. And it's really hard to say that about any other sport or activity.
Yeah, I mean, well, for most girls, I mean, if they're in like a class full of men, I mean, it's like difficult for that girl to even work with a guy, especially if we go for ground techniques. I mean, the main thing about self-defense is if you end up on the ground, I mean, the one thing you don't want to happen is somebody get on top of you. So, I mean, that's the thing I do with my students is work on ground techniques. At least if I can prevent them from getting put into like a guard or get in the guard position or even the mount position, then at least they can at least get up easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. Good for you.
Awesome. All right. So let's kind of get to your role as Scorpion. I mean, I know you mentioned that you had the audition and then you was how many people you had to audition against?
Well, it was a series of 3 different auditions. The first time there was about 100 guys in the room. Second time it got narrowed down to about half that. The third time I went, there was just 3 of us, me and 2 other guys. So it was quite a big group that got narrowed down. But the story I tell is I didn't actually go into audition as Scorpion. I went to audition as being one of the background fighters in some of the other scenes because I hadn't ever been in a real big motion picture, a major studio film before. I'd done some smaller projects here and there, but I wanted to try and get in a major motion picture. So I wanted to be in the background because you get your kind of your feet wet, right? It's learning as you go. But it just ended up I was in the right place at the right time. I did the right things that caught the producer's eyes, and they kept asking me to come back, and I ended up in the role of Scorpion.
And that was like my favorite scene. I mean, that was like out of all the scenes that were in that movie, that you and Johnny Cage, that was like one scene that if I actually watch it, I get up and actually try to do the moves like you two do. Like that was like amazing.
Well, thank you very much. I have good news for you. It was my favorite scene as well.
Yeah. I mean, the beginning scene when you're in the middle of the forest and you were shooting
Mhm.
your spear out of your hand, it's like that was like the famous of course Mortal Kombat game saying, "Get over here." Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And no, it was great. And listen, it's, I give a lot of credit to the fans of Mortal Kombat. They've really kept this whole franchise alive, and they've been very supportive of me over the years. And listen, I'm on your show because I'm Scorpion. So I really appreciate it. And to keep doing good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mentioned I met Daniel Persida. That was the other Scorpion, the video game version of Scorpion. Yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, it was amazing. I went to Retro Game Con. It was him and John Parrish. They were doing like autograph signing and photographs, and Daniel
Uh-huh.
was dressing up in like different costumes, like either he was Johnny Cage or Scorpion. But luckily, when I
Hmm.
took a picture with both of them, I got Scorpion. I was like, yes, yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. All right. So let me ask you the last thing. We're gonna go into like our segment called the Hidden Dojo. So here's the last question. What inspirational quote best describes your journey?
That's a good question. What inspirational quote best describes my journey? Hmm. I actually have no idea. I would say learn how to make adjustments instead of making excuses.
Mm, yeah, that goes with my knee brace. Yeah. So for the next 2 weeks, I'll make adjustments and then see where I'm at.
All right.
So that's really nice. Make adjustments instead of excuses. So that's always good. Yeah, that's like diversity as well as versatility. Yeah. All right, here we go. So we're into our segment we call the Hidden Dojo. So this is seven. This is where the fun part is. So I ask you
Okay.
7 questions and you answer them in the best of your ability. Uh, All right.
I'm ready.
Here's the first question: the best advice you ever gotten, and who said it?
Two parts to that answer. Number one, the best advice I was given in the movie business was to take acting lessons because someone who really wanted to see me succeed came up to me and they gave me a great analogy. They said, Chris, they can take a great actor and make him look like a martial artist, but they can't take a great martial artist and make him look like an actor. So if you want to be in this business, take acting lessons. And that advice served me very well. The other advice, of course, came from my dad, where he said, you can start something, but don't give up until you achieve the goal that you set when you started that thing. And that was a lot about dedication and perseverance. And I give him all the credit for my success for instilling that in me at a very early age.
Ah, Mason. All right, the worst advice you ever gotten?
That won't work in this area.
Yeah, I guess that's
It's
like
it's not that it doesn't work, it's that the person doing it isn't doing it right.
yeah. It's like, yeah, you're like the place is it's not the place, it's the person that's doing the like doing the thing. So they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not the place, it's the person that does it wrong. So that yeah, so that's good. Yeah. All right. Guilty pleasure. How do you reward yourself?
Snowboarding.
Ooh.
Snowboarding or binging Stranger Things.
Vengeance. Oh, that's what I'm watching. I was watching that like a few minutes ago, Stranger Things. Yeah. I think I wanted a break from Cobra Kai. Yeah. All right. I mean, I'm gonna skip this one because you already was in the famous movie Mortal Kombat. Usually the question would be, what famous movie would you want to be in? I mean, you were already in Mortal Kombat, so yeah.
Iron Man.
Oh yeah, that's a good one right there. Iron Man. So that'd be a different Scorpion. Other than just shooting spears, you'd be shooting like flares and fire. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Secret talent.
Secret talent. Well, if I told you, it would no longer be a secret.
Mm-mm. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. All right. Dream celebrity encounter.
Dream. Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Ah, yeah. Be surprised if I actually got to meet her at a Comic-Con somewhere, but that's highly unlikely. But you never
Hmm.
know. You might run in her for like at a store or somewhere.
You never know.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah. All right. Final question. 10 years from now.
10 years from now,
Yes, like where would you see yourself? I know you got like a lot of like studios in like California. Do you think about expanding like to different states?
that I don't know of, but 10 years from now, we will have 40 Red Dragon locations, and I will be retired on the beach in the south of France.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, everything you pretty much got like a good staff for us to take care of your school. So yeah. Hey, all right. So thank you very much for taking the time. I know it was small, but it's better than nothing. So it actually got to speak with somebody famous. So it's very good. So thank you very much for joining me today, Chris. So hope everything goes well with you. And if you come out of retirement and become Scorpion again, then I'm looking forward to that.
Well, listen, you and the fans and the people listening to the show can decide if that actually happens, because Warner Brothers and the studios actually listen to the fans. So the more you guys tell them that there should be a multiverse in Mortal Kombat, the more likely it is that I actually will be back in the Mortal Kombat franchise. They are just starting the script process for the next film, which got green lit to go. So it's really up to the fans. So the more everyone contacts Warner Brothers and lets them know, bring back the OG Scorpion, then you will see me up on that silver screen very soon.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. All
All
right,
right, my
so
man. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Congratulations to you and all your success. I appreciate it. And you have yourself a very good one, my man.
all right, so I'm gonna just go do my closing. All right, for those who just tuned in, make sure you tune into my previous episode on the BICBPRadio.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And I'll see you next time for another episode of the Kickpod. This is your instructor, TJ Williams, bowing you out.